Hello, my fellow speakers. This is Brian, the Speaker for the Dead, coming to you today with another video on a new topic. Kind of an old topic, though, but there was a comment made on one of my videos the other day that kind of got me thinking about this subject, because it's a comment that I've heard multiple times throughout my different videos and different things. I've had people say, hey, how come you're always talking so much about the wokeness and feminism and liberal politics and SJW this and identity politics and all that kind of stuff? So I wanted to explain it because somebody left a comment the other day on a video, and it was a fair comment. So I want to read it to you. Now, this is coming from someone called Ming Lord. That is not, I'm not giving you that to go and harass this person because they weren't nasty at all. This is just to be clear. Said, I had to this is a video that I did on The Expanse and the forthcoming season 4. So he put this on there. I had to unsub from Nerdrotic, liked his Expanse content, but got bored of him turning everything into an opportunity to rail against gender politics, etc. And then goes on to talk about what I said in the video. So I wanted to cover that topic, or cover that comment a little bit. Because he subscribed to my channel and then obviously went and looked at some of my other videos and almost immediately unsubscribed. Now I have a small enough channel that I notice when subscribers come and go. And it makes me sad every time I see someone go without giving me a chance to, without sending me a message through my Twitter or making another comment on the video saying, it looks like you're doing the same thing that so-and-so's doing that caused me to leave. And I mean, at least give me a chance to explain. So I wanted to take this chance to explain so that hopefully people will be able to understand in the future. The reason though it seems like me and other people that are either in the Phantom Menace or follow the Phantom Menace, Nerdrotic, Geeks and Gamers, Doomcock, World Class Bullshitters, those are just some of the main names, EVS. It seems like they talk about this a lot, and I think it's the same reason I talk about it a lot. Not because they do, but because we all kind of on our own, independently from one another, have seen the same problem. We've seen them pushing that stuff into our entertainment. It's not because, we all can't wait to get on here and talk about all the social justice nonsense and everything going on in the world, all the socialism and weird politics that are being pushed, and gender identity, this and that, and people just trying to upset the norm and turn everything on its head. And so that's being pushed everywhere we see in the media. I mean, it's being pushed by news sources. Pardon me. It's being pushed by news. It's being pushed by news sources. It's being pushed almost everywhere. Movies, television, documentaries. I mean, almost every form of media you can imagine, they're all struggling with this same stuff. They're all pushing this agenda. They're all marching towards this crazy, psychotic stuff. So I wanted to give you a few examples of what I'm talking about. Now, unfortunately, because of a lot of my likes and stuff like that, these are all going to have kind of a similar theme to them, but this is not limited to just studios such as Marvel or, Paramount, or they're all doing this. So let's just get into a short list of things, the films and TV shows that are examples of exactly what I'm talking about, and why it seems like all the people in the Phantom Menace are always talking about this stuff. So, for example, Captain Marvel. I mean, Captain Marvel was cast with a horrible actress who used the film as a excuse to throw her political opinions out there. She went on this awards show and started bad-mouthing white dudes And then while saying she wasn't bad-mouthing white dudes, because Wrinkle in Time did terrible because it was a horrible movie. And then they're like, well, see, white people suck because Wrinkle in Time didn't do very well. What about all the black people that didn't go see it? Or the Hispanics or the Chinese or the whoever? I mean, why is it just white people's fault we didn't go? Yeah, nobody wanted to go see it because it looked awful. And I loved that book. When I was growing up, that was one of my favorite books. But what they did to that movie? Yeah, no, thank you. I have no interest, especially Oprah Winfrey. No. I'm sorry. I don't like her. I like some of her messages. Unfortunately, she doesn't live by her messages. So, but I mean, this Captain Marvel was shoehorned into the MCU. She was put between two of the biggest MCU films of all time so that her movie would not fail no matter how crappy she was. And she was crappy. Now, full disclosure, never seen this movie, but I've seen enough of it that I'm just like, yeah, I don't need to see the rest of that. They retconned Captain Marvel out of the movie completely and replaced him with another chick. See, Miss Marvel got her powers from Captain Marvel, and that's where she got her name and everything. And they retconned it so she ain't getting her powers from no man. I mean, really, you needed to change that? Who cares where her powers came from as long as she's doing something good with them? You losers. But you just couldn't have a man being involved in the story because, Jude Law, white man bad. Really? And they turned the Kree into this horrible race of evil people, which, yeah, they're not great. But the weird aliens that shapeshift, they're worse. The Skrull in the comics, they're conquerors. They're horrible people. Like they infiltrate people's cultures. They try and take over. They try and rule everything around them. And you're telling me somehow they became the hero refugees just looking for a place to stay. Because, oh, good Lord, we've got to make a parallel between that and all the South American people trying to invade the United States. Drawing direct parallels and then expecting all of us out here who see it just to go, oh, that's nice. It's so sweet. No, we're going to call it out every single time because they're just pushing politics into our entertainment under the guise of, it's not an allegory or nothing. But one of the deleted scenes shows Captain Marvel because some biker guy said, hey, why don't you smile or something like that? Just a friendly comment and stuff. Maybe it was a little inappropriate. She beats him up, steals his jacket, and steals his motorcycle. Wow, such a hero. Such a role model for little girls. Beat people up if you don't like what they say. Yeah, we should just leave that alone. Shouldn't talk about that at all. I mean, it's awful. And then that brings us to the latest, the Joker movie. They made this huge stink about how white incels are going to go and shoot up theaters because that happened in Aurora, Colorado, which it had nothing to do with Batman, which is the movie that got shot up. It just happened to be that was the big opening movie of the weekend. Had nothing to do with the DCEU. It had nothing to do with Warner Brothers or the Joker or nothing. It was just a happen chance event. But they turned it into an opportunity to try. It was almost like they were egging psychotic, deranged lunatics to go try and find a gun and shoot up a theater. It was like they were promoting the very thing that they said, we don't want this to happen. Everybody beware. Get out the military and the cops. And shut up. And I hear it's a great movie. I haven't had a chance to go see it yet. But I hear it's fantastic. So I'm kind of looking forward to it at some point. To get to go see this because I hear Joaquin Phoenix's portrayal of this character, his descent into madness, and he basically becomes a horrible villain. I mean, it sounds like it was really well done. Black Panther. I mean, there's the comment from Sharae or whatever her name is, the Black Panther's sister, who is suddenly the smartest person in the MCU. She makes Tony Stark look so stupid. I was thinking about this last night. I'm like, okay, really? So you guys are this super high advanced technological society in the middle of Africa. You've got all this wealth and all this knowledge and this power, and yet you've let the continent around you descend into chaos and anarchy and death and destruction because you have access to this mineral, and it never occurs to you that, hey, maybe you ought to bring some order to the chaos. Maybe you ought to try and push for national government of Africa to try and end the killing and the uprisings and the craziness that goes on in that continent. Oh, no. We're going to hide in our shield and just watch as it all burns down around us. We're so smart. And then Share in the movie walks out and goes, oh, now I have to fix another white boy? Now you tell me any white character that could get away with walking into a scene and going, oh man, really? I gotta fix some other N-word boy? Or black boy? Or whatever. No, nobody would get away with that. Never. They would be burned at the stake if some white person said something like that. I'll probably have people attack me because I dared to even suggest the term that I just suggested. That's how crazy it is. But, racism against white people? Completely justified, totally acceptable. It's all right. Don't worry about it. Nobody talk about there. No story here. Don't look under that. Don't look behind that curtain. No, racism is racism, and it's bad no matter who's perpetrating it. And if you want to justify one type of racism, then you justify all the other type of racism. The neo-Nazis make me sick. The Nazis, anybody that's a white supremacist or whatever, they make me sick. I have nothing in common with these people. They're psychos. But I also don't have anything in common with the Black Panthers who think, the black man will rise up and destroy the white man. Really? Okay. But it's just overlooked. And nobody talks about it. There's like this whole film, and there's like 2 white guys in the whole freaking film. And everybody's like, oh, it's the best. We're going to give this one an Oscar. It's so brave. It's so out there. Okay. Yeah. Now, and then that brings us to Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Possibly one of the worst movies ever made. Especially in the Star Wars. I mean, it's hands down the worst Star Wars movie ever made that could ever be made. I mean, I'm sure somebody could come along and really trump the stupidity, but it's just awful. From beginning to end, it's nothing but superior women characters making men feel like they're stupid, demoting men characters, acting like they're not succeeding when they are succeeding, and then sitting there and being insulting and not telling anybody the big plan. So everybody starts running off trying to fix this mess that Admiral Holdo's presiding over because she won't tell anybody what she's doing. I mean, the whole story is just one nightmare after another. I mean, the chase scene makes no sense. Since when did hyperspace fuel become the... I mean, it was just awful from beginning to end. And the SJW stuff started in the beginning and never ended clear to the end. All the, like, Admiral Akbar gets blown out into space. Oh, sorry, Admiral Akbar. Good to know you. We're not going to talk about you ever again other than a one throwaway line in 10 seconds after you get killed. And then, you're just one of the biggest heroes and stuff of the Return of the Jedi and stuff. But, hey, we're gonna kill you off for some purple-haired weirdo. Yeah, we shouldn't comment on that. We shouldn't talk about it. We shouldn't draw the conclusion and bring it up to other people that this nonsense is being pushed into films, and it's stupid and it's insulting, and we're just supposed to sit quietly by and accept all of this crap. No, it's gonna get called out. It's gonna get noticed, and to pretend like we shouldn't talk about it is just, it's not realistic. It really isn't. Maybe they should stop pushing this stuff in and just tell great stories and make great movies, but no, sorry. So, but I mean, Rose Tico, one of the most annoying characters ever, and she could have been an okay character, but like, she's like shocking people who are trying to leave the resistance. Like, I'm sorry, when did the resistance become like the Empire, that you can't just leave whenever you want? I mean, that's Empire and first order kind of nonsense. Don't let anybody leave. How dare you become a traitor? It's not a traitor to just say, I don't want to be part of this anymore. This is a free organization resisting the first order and the empire. So I have the right to walk away if I want to, you know. But no, not in Ruin Johnson's trilogy. Oh no, the Republic or the Resistance is just as bad. I mean, so she's shocking people. She shocks Poe and just awful character. They go to this horrible planet where it's a casino world where white men are getting richer and the poor people are getting poorer. They got slavery and they got these dog, horse, animal things that are running around the track. And, we just need to free the horse, animal, dog things because they're so poor and getting beat up and stuff. And then we let them out. Let them out. They go tearing through the casino, destroy this casino, hurt and injure people. And then who has to clean all that up? So they free all these horse, dog, animal things. And they leave the enslaved children enslaved. What kind of a message is that? That dog, animal, horse things are more important than human beings or alien slavery? Really? Oh, yeah, that's a great message there, Ryan. Great message, Mr. Johnson. You should just do all kinds of movies like this. Because your ideology isn't twisted up. That horse, dog, animals are more important than enslaved children. And now those children are going to have to undo all the damage that those two retards did on the casino. Who do you think pays for all that? It ain't going to be those rich people that are going to pay. It's going to be all the slaves and all the people they bring in to force them to rebuild the mess that's been made. Just a horrible film. Horrible from beginning to end. And it's full of SJW stuff, which is part of what makes it horrible. And it's a bad story. It makes no sense. The chase makes no sense. The whole thing is just terrible. But hey, we're not going to talk about that. Don't mention the elephant in the room. And then we got Batwoman. Need I say more? The trailers for that were awful. Nothing but woke female woman power. I'm better than you. It's going to be perfect when it suits when that suit fits a woman. Because Batman sucked. He needed to have a vagina. Otherwise, he's a terrible, terrible superhero. You steal everything that was Batman's and then you claim it as your own and then you act like you're better than the guy who made all the stuff that you stole to use. Excuse me? Yeah, I shouldn't mention that either. Sorry. And Star Trek Discovery. STD. I've said enough about that. Probably don't need to rant anymore. But that is just full of... It's not Star Trek. That's not Star Trek. It's got the name on it, but it's not Star Trek. Anybody who thinks it is an idiot. They have no idea what Star Trek even is. But hey, there again, I'm not supposed to comment. Oh, you guys are just turning everything into SJW talking points, and it's just awful. I wish you guys had stopped that. I have to unsubscribe from you now. Maybe you should stop going to see and supporting these movies and TV shows that are pushing this agenda. Maybe you should unsubscribe from them. Maybe you should unsubscribe from Netflix. I did. I unsubscribed from Netflix because they were into this propaganda. They were donating $50 million to the Obamas to come in and make content. Excuse me? I do not want Barack Obama and Michelle Obama creating any kind of entertainment for me, any more than I want George W. Bush doing it or Donald J. Trump doing it. I don't want politicians and people creating content that push their political ideology. What the hell's wrong with you people? That's just stupid. But, hey, I shouldn't mention that. So, yeah. So with that being the case... it naturally comes up in our rebuttal videos or our review videos or just normal conversation. Not because we're the ones pushing this, but because they are. And we feel the need to comment on it and draw attention to it and talk about the problems and the issues that are coming around because of those things. So if you are looking for someone to point the blame at for drawing all of this stuff into just normal conversations and media reviews and every other topic and news story that comes up out there, don't look at the guys on YouTube and blame them for that. Blame the people that are creating the problem in the first place. Blame the Hollywood creatives who are pushing their identity politics and their political views and ideologies into all of our entertainment, and then expecting us all to just gobble it up and allow them to spoon feed us their crazy ideologies and their messed up ways of thinking about things. I don't have a problem with anybody having an opinion that's different than mine. I do have a problem with people trying to sneak their politics and their agendas into harmless media fun and stuff in an attempt to subliminally advertise and push their thoughts and feelings into my thoughts and feelings. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that when when politicians are doing it. I don't agree with it when media types are doing it. I don't agree when actors are doing it. Keep your politics to yourself. And I'll try and keep my politics to myself, or I'll at least tell you that I'm talking about politics. When I do a political video, I pretty much stick to just political stuff. So if people who come to my channel just for the entertainment, they can go directly to the entertainment videos and find what they want, hopefully, and see what my opinions are on some entertainment source. But if I do a political video, then you click on that. Well, absolutely, you're going to get my political views. The difference is I'm labeling them. I'm labeling them up front. I'm not hiding it. I'm not pretending that I'm doing this when I'm doing that. But they are. And that's the problem, is so that every time we try and comment on a video or a movie or a TV show or whatever, we end up having to talk about it because they put it in everything. And it's not our fault. It's just our way of trying to fight back against what they're doing. And so if you see and feel like we're political tools or we're pushing our political agendas and stuff, we're not. We're just pushing back against theirs. So if you don't like it, you need to be commenting to Hollywood and all these other people out there who are causing this to become a major thing in your life, because that's not us doing that. And it would be irresponsible of me as a reviewer, as someone giving you my honest opinion as the speaker for the dead. It would be irresponsible of me not to point this out, not to tell you the truth, not to tell you that's what's happening, and to fight against it and talk about it and try and draw your attention to the fact that you're being deceived and you're being treated to lies and deceptions. And I don't like that. I never have, and I'm always going to speak out against it. If you want to make a political video, if you want to make a movie about politics, make a movie about politics. But don't make a movie about the Avengers and shove your politics into it and pretend that, everybody should just be fine with it. I mean, I did not like the fact that they put the gay guy in the Avengers Endgame movie. They didn't need to do that. They did not need to do that. And yet they did. They had to have that scene where one of the actual directors of the film, one of the Russo brothers, played a gay guy. Well, I went out on a date the other night, and I think I'm going to meet him again. I'm just like, oh, for Pete's sake. Really? We had to have that in here. We just had to have it. You couldn't give us an Avengers movie, an entire series of Avengers movies without that nonsense in it, without you pushing some gay agenda. It just infuriates me when they do that. I mean, I understand gay people exist, and I'm fine with that. But I don't need them trying to push it out there as though they're... I mean, if you watched Hollywood movies and TV shows and stuff, you would think that 50% or more of the population is gay, transgendered, gender confused, gender this, sexually deviant that. I mean, it's just whatever. It's just, you would think they are the majority because they're in everything. They're in every TV show, every movie, every time you turn around, it's there. And they're changing characters from white characters into black characters. They're changing redheads into black or dark hair. They're like, it's just like, stop changing things that don't need to be changed. Stop rewriting characters to fit your current social narrative. Like putting black people in the Scandinavian culture of Thor. Now there were no black people or Chinese people or Asian people or whatever in the Thor. I just lost the name for the main place, Asgard. In the Asgardian culture, it was based on the Scandinavians. That is their theology. That is their history. That is their religion. And what did they do? They went and put a bunch of black people and a bunch of dark-haired people. And I'm just like, that is not what that culture was. Talk about cultural appropriation. You always bitching and complaining about when people do it to African culture or people do it to Chinese culture or do it to some other culture. But if it's a white culture, get rid of it. We can shove all kinds of people in there that don't belong. And it's nonsense. It's nonsense, and it shouldn't be in there. Not because I have anything against those people, but because it's inaccurate. Their culture was blonde, blue-eyed Viking culture. And as much as I like Idris Elba, and I liked him in that role that he played, but that of Heimdall, he wasn't supposed to be in there. That was supposed to be played by another Viking type character. So I'm just getting tired of it. And so when people call that nonsense out, what do you expect? Because people are tired of watching it be okay to demean one group of people, but not okay to demean another group of people. If you're white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, well, we can destroy you. We can attack your cultural heritages. We can just trash you every step of the way for being bigot, white, racist people. I've never owned anybody in my entire life. Never wanted to own anybody. So I don't understand this thing of judging me according to what some white people did 200, 300, 500 years ago. It's nonsense. All of it is nonsense. And if you don't like it in your culture, if you don't like it in your media sources, stop blaming the people who are calling it out and start blaming the people who are shoving it into everything that you like. So that's my short rant and diatribe on that today. But give us YouTubers a break, a chance, because we're just trying to draw your attention to it. We're not trying to make it the big issue. That's the other side. That's the other people that are trying to make it the big issue. We're just trying to say, hey, we see it. We don't appreciate it. Please stop. And until they stop, we're going to have to call it out. And so if you don't like hearing our reviews with that stuff being called out in it, well, there you go. It's not going to stop till they do. So anyway, thanks for watching this video. Get out there and have yourselves a great day, and we will talk to you next time.